Welcome back, everybody. We're here to pull cards for January the 28th. I am going to be pulling one card for overall energy, and after that, we'll pull one card for each sign. And we will just see how those energies meld together and come up with the predictions for the day for each sign like that. Now, if you know your sun sign, you can get a little bit of juice from a reading like this. If you know your ascendant and all your houses, then you can actually get quite a bit of information off of a short little video like this. So let's see, overall energy we have, is this the 7? Yeah, the 7 of Cups. Interesting depiction for a 7 of Cups, isn't it? Well, you guys will see a little more of the card the more we get on the table. Anyway, so 7 of Cups coming up in reverse. This talks for me about the idea of being really focused on something. When the 7 of Cups is right side up, it talks about daydreams. It talks about checking out the options. But when the 7 of Cups comes up in reverse, for me, that's like the opposite of daydreams. That's okay, now we're really focused on something. We've chosen something that we can do to improve our life, and we are focused in on that. We're putting in the energy, we're putting in the effort, and we are working towards that. So let's look at how that plays out for each sign as we go through the zodiac for the day. So Aries, you guys are going to be first. What we have showing up for you guys is the World card. Okay, Aries. This is really interesting because it's general. It's really hard for me to say what part of your life we're talking about here. However, what we do see is that you have figured out something that is ideal for you, something that is perfect for you. So whether it's the ideal job, the ideal relationship, the ideal home, the ideal vehicle, the ideal phone, whatever it might happen to be, you have figured out what is ideal and you're really focusing on going towards that ideal. Maybe it's the ideal lifestyle or the ideal morning routine. It can be anything. It can be anything. I'm going to quit with the examples because there's no way for me to go through all of the possibilities here. All right, next up we're looking at Taurus. So Taurus, we have the Knight of Swords showing up in reverse. We are really focused. Those of us who have Taurus placements, what we're focused on is we are really focused on making sure that we have all the energy, or excuse me, all the information that we need before we move forward. This to me says we may have said some things that we regretted afterwards. And we've sort of learned that lesson. So now we're really being focused on making sure that we've got all the information before we move forward and start running our mouths. All right, next up, let's look at Gemini. Ba-ba-da-da. Woo, look at you, Geminis. Y'all have the star showing up here. What a great card to get. So this just tells me that there's something that you're hoping for, some type of dream that you're shooting for. What do they say? Shoot for the stars. So this basically is saying that you are focusing on whatever that hope is, whatever that dream or that goal is. Good for you. Now let's see. Next up, we're going to look at Cancer's card. What do you guys have? The Ace of Pentacles showing up here for those of you with Cancer placements, or those of us with Cancer placements, I should say. Ba-ba-da-da-da-da. Ace of Pentacles talks about this idea of receiving a gift or receiving an opportunity. And so I think that you're very focused on this idea of, well, I have this gift or I have this opportunity. What am I going to do with it? This is you really focused on, okay, I know what I'm going to do with this, and starting to take steps towards that. Good for you. All right, next up we're looking at Leo. After Cancer comes Leo. Leo, 8 of Cups coming up in reverse. Okay, so Leo, this tells me that you have a situation that you walked away from because it was making you feel either exhausted or depleted or both. Now we see you really focused on going back into that situation. So I hope you've done some research. I hope you figured something out that's going to make this situation better this time around. And I'm going to say good luck to you in going back into this situation and making it work. All right, next up, let's look at Virgo. Okay, so Virgos, we have the wheel card showing up in reverse. Now this is really interesting. Boop-ba-da-doo-doo-doo. Virgos, this is almost like taking two cards to say what a Four of Cups would say. This basically says that you're focusing on how things are falling apart for you, how they're not going well. You're focusing on all the obstacles. Don't do that. Don't focus on all the obstacles. Start thinking about, okay, so this is an obstacle I have, but how could I get around that? How could I get through that? How could I get over that? You know, you want to start focusing on the solutions instead of the obstacles, because if you focus on the obstacles, you beat yourself before you ever get started. Focus on the solutions. Okay, change this energy up. Who is that? That's Virgo. Virgo. Next up, we're looking at Libra. Libra, look at you. High Priestess. High Priestess. Boop-ba-da-doo-doo. Boop-ba-da-doo. A lot of you are very focused on keeping a secret here. You're doing everything you can to keep a secret. I don't think that's going to work out well for you. And I say that because there's that little bird right there by the High Priestess's face. And you know, they always say, a little bird told me. I think somebody's gonna spill your secret. Might even be you, Libra. So whatever secret it is that you're trying to be very focused about not sharing, I think you should be prepared that it may come out a little bit early. A little bit earlier than you intended. All right, next up we're going to look at Scorpio. Okay, Scorpios, Two of Pentacles. This is interesting. Scorpios, we're just focusing on keeping some momentum going. We've got a lot of things going on in our lives, and we're just focusing on keeping all the plates in the air so that nothing comes crashing to the ground and gets broken. So really focusing on keeping all the plates in the air today, Scorpios. Boop-ba-doo-doo. We like it. Usually if I'm busy, it's a good thing. I like it. Hope you guys do too. Sagittarius, you're up next. Okay, Sagittarius, Temperance card in reverse. You're really focused on your impatience. You know, this is impatience can be a good thing. It's not always. So you kind of have to have some discernment about when it's a good thing and when it is not. But impatience can be a good thing in a situation where it motivates you to make some changes that are for the best for everyone. Impatience can also be really bad if it motivates you to cut corners and make almost like distressed decisions, not make solid decisions just because you're impatient. So we have you really focusing on your impatience. It's going to be important for you to pay attention to what does your impatience have you doing? Does it have you doing something to build towards an improvement? Or does it have you doing something to cut corners or to be a little bit reckless? All right. Let's take that impatience and let's use it in a positive way. Okay. So that's for Sagittarius. Next up, we're looking at Capricorn. I wanted to say the Seven of Keys. It's actually the Seven of Swords. Isn't that an interesting depiction of it? But if you ever look at a Seven of Swords in another deck, they're usually like gathering up all these swords that are left on the battlefield. So having a bunch of keys in a nest, kind of similar imagery as far as symbolism there. So basically, I think, who is this, Capricorn? I think you're really focusing on putting together a strategy today. Gathering your thoughts. gathering your words, really probably not telling too many people what you're thinking right now. Probably kind of being a little bit by yourself to work out what is your strategy moving forward. All right, so that's for Capricorn. Next up, we're going to look at Aquarius. Aquarius, Four of Wands in reverse. Really focused on getting away from home or away from family, focusing on detaching from home, household, or family. So you could be very focused on going on vacation. You could be very focused on a business trip that you need to make. You could be very focused on just taking a drive to get away from home. Something going on there along those lines. All right, so that was Aquarius. Next up, we are going to look at Pisces. Pisces, you have the Five of Swords shown up in reverse. Those of you who have been watching me a while, you know what that means. You're really focused on being the peacemaker today. You don't want to fight. You don't want to fight, and you're not letting anything grow into a fight between you and anybody else, or you find yourself in the middle of two parties not getting along, trying to keep the peace there. Whichever way that's playing out, I think you're really putting a lot of focus into it today. Okay, so that's what I have for everybody. Thank you all so much for being here today. I do appreciate your kind attention. Remember, you guys are my sponsors. I don't have to advertise any kind of crazy stuff because you guys are my sponsors. So thank you for putting a thumbs up on this video, sharing it out with the world, and putting comments down below. Obviously, I am looking forward to doing private readings with some of you a little bit later on in private Reiki sessions. And the rest of you, I'll see back on the next video. Peace out.